The Batcave! The legendary Batcave! My Hero Clicks. The gem of my Hero Clicks collection. As you can tell, we are going to be talking Batman today.
That's new. That's new. Usually it's Superman.
Yeah, well, Joe, I will do Batman reviews, okay? He's my second favorite superhero. All right, so we're going to show massive Batman love today. Just recently, today was the digital release of Batman The Killing Joke. Now, if you don't know, The Killing Joke is widely regarded as one of the most influential Batman comic graphic novels of all time, written in 1988 by Alan Moore. Brian Bolland also involved with the art, and it was just a fantastic Joker story,
really good,
psychological, trying to show that Batman and Joker are basically two sides of the same coin.
Pretty much.
Also giving backstory to Joker, having been this failed comic where he essentially has one really bad day and loses his shit, and of course you add in the Ace chemicals and you add in the Batman being responsible for shoving him or him falling into the vat and turning into Joker. Some of the best art of all time and very influential. So right away we're going to say Batman The Killing Joke is great. It is a good film. It's not worth the fucking stupid ass digital $20 thing where you don't get a physical copy and you're spending the same ass damn money. I fucking hate this 2-week early thing because the movie will be available for Blu-ray and DVD on August the 2nd. So this is a little bit of an early review to see whether you guys want it or not. Let's jump right in. So what's different about this Batman The Killing Joke is the fact that they add about 30 to 40 minutes of new footage.
Like right at the beginning.
Yeah,
right?
just a whole new storyline that wasn't in the original comic. And it's basically centers around Barbara Gordon as Batgirl.
Yep.
And okay, hashtag BatSex.
That's pretty much.
We gotta fucking talk about this. I found it insulting. I found it really poorly done. And I think that was out of character. I think the whole Batgirl thing could have been done far better. It was an interesting element to the story, but it just felt like a completely separate side story. And if what they were trying to do was give Barbara Gordon more context, right, for what eventually happens to her, what eventually happens to her later, where she ends up in a hospital, and try to get more emotion from Batman.
No, I just had
you think of BatSex?
I had like a stupid thought. If he's covered in spandex already, does he need a condom?
God damn it.
I don't know.
Condoms are made out of spandex.
Okay, so fuck it. I'm gonna spoil it here. We need to talk about this, and you could see it for yourself in the fucking film. But Batgirl, in a moment of frustration from Batman trying to keep her protected because they are chasing this new mob boss who is basically hitting on Batgirl the whole time. Batman says that he's objectifying her, and Batman's a feminist, and he's objectifying her. He wants her to stay out of it. She's not ready to fight him, and so this guy's constantly making sexual advances on her. He wants to stay away, and finally when they deal with it, she's so frustrated with him, she's like punching him and stuff, and then in this completely awkward moment,
I did not like it at all.
She starts making out with Batman.
He was like, I love being hit, I'm into this.
I would think it's like Barbara considers him a father figure, and then they start going at him like, no, that's not supposed to happen.
No, that's like having sex with your dad. Stop having sex with your dad. That's fucking nasty.
It's a father figure.
It is a father. Well, she has a real father.
She has a dad.
I know that,
but it's
just like, my brain just whatever. But anyway. So even though the performances of the actors and the voice actors were really on point, I felt like the actual story and the emotional involvement they tried to portray wasn't strong enough in how they executed it.
Right.
They just they had a great plot, like you said. They had the idea and the chance of bringing the characters like more emotional involvement, having them deeper and deepening Batman. You know, because at this point he lost Robin, because Robin was dead at that point with the baseball bat and everything. They showed that, and then he was getting really close to Barbara, and they could have gone like super deep with his character, and they just dropped it. And you could tell that the actors really were trying. The voice actors were trying to convey that. But
there just wasn't enough material there. It wasn't enough material. If you wanted to expand on this particular story, then you have to put more elements for those particular storylines for them to make sense. It's as if they was one hand tied behind their back.
Yep.
They were too scared to expand on these elements. Versus depicting it in getting an R rating or something.
I have no idea.
I don't know either, because already The Killing Joke gets criticism for being misogynist because you're brutalizing a woman. Now I personally think that the reason why Joker picked her is because she's Batgirl and she's critical to not only Gordon but to Batman himself. But I do understand the point that was a very common trope in that time. So what do you do when you relook at this and you make a new animated movie? You deepen the trope by then this new storyline where Batgirl is objectified, and even Batman is saying you're being objectified, and it's like, okay, and then BatSex, random BatSex that wasn't there before, and no, it's insulting, and it ruins an otherwise good adaptation of The Killing Joke. In fact, if you take out those first 30 minutes, then it's a solid adaptation. You're gonna get a grittier, darker, more real, and more satisfying story if you actually buy the graphic novel. In that case, when it loses that much content, but maybe they should have taken those 30 minutes and beefed up the areas within the actual story.
They took so much liberty in the first half of the movie, like adding that new story and everything. And then, like you said, they were like afraid to go deeper with it, even though they were already implying rape and like sexual obsession and objectification, all this, and like how close they got. I don't know why they didn't just like take a spin on it and make it more emotionally involved. Like they were afraid to alter the story when they already added that first 30 minutes for some reason.
Yeah.
They could have made Batman like pissed as fuck.
Yeah.
And he wasn't.
He was pretty much emotionless the entire
he was like,
time.
oh, you just shot her in the spine. I'm Batman.
And the reason why we're focusing on that part so much is because we already think that the rest of the film that sticks close to adding Joker's backstory, to the carnival fight, to Joker capturing Gordon and trying to drive him insane by showing these brutal pictures of his daughter, stripped naked and beaten, though they don't barely show anything.
Yeah, that was pretty poorly done.
In the fun house, right? He takes this roller coaster ride and he goes through it, and it is harrowing, But in the animation, they can't go as far as it was in the book. But everything else was done pretty well, and that's why we're focusing on this beginning part that seemed unnecessary. So unless you're huge comic book fans or you've already seen the story, there's probably not much extra here, is what we're talking about. There's not much extra here for you that you would want to probably go out and spend $20 on.
It's worth pointing out he killed 2 people in this animated movie.
Yeah.
He straight up suffocated one dude and then pulled a midget down into a spike pit.
Who is he?
Batman.
Okay, Batman.
He killed 2 people in this movie. Essentially.
He's not supposed... Right, and in the animated film, that reduces the impact of when you think, does Batman kill? Because he's already killed 2 people before. He killed a midget.
See them die.
You don't see them? No, Joe.
He is dead.
Once again, it's left up into your interpretation.
Here's the
thing.
I would agree with you, Joe.
Maybe
but here's
it was
the
just
thing.
his hand. Maybe you just heard his hand go.
You hear a midget fall into a spike pit off screen, but it goes shink.
Maybe it was his own.
That midget is dead.
And then the other dude is this big strong man, and he shoots like a giant wad of like super glue on his face. He can't get it off, and he falls down and stops moving.
Batman already calculated his strength, so he knew that it would take him approximately 2 minutes to rip the
2
the
hours.
Thing off. 2 hours. And he would rip it off in time.
He did.
So in terms of final verdict, let's go around and give final verdicts. So we'll start with OtherJoe today.
I'm gonna give this an 8.
8 out of 10. You really enjoyed it.
I really liked it, but like that story with Batman and Batgirl kind of felt forced and awkward.
it's tough because
They could have done a lot
it was a
better with
faithful
the other
adaptation with this really stupid side story that's kind of insulting, and I could see what they're going for, but it didn't really work. So 8 out of 10 still?
Yeah, I still liked it.
Okay, what
I
about...
liked it, though.
Yeah, I did like it a lot, yeah.
I gotta give it a 7 because the actual comic was a 9, and I gotta take points off because they fucked up. Like they straight up, they could have done it so much better, and because of lack of like, I guess inspiration or even foresight in what they were doing, they just screwed it up. And I mean, we figured out a better idea in like 30 seconds of just thinking. And so for them to have the storyline to go forward and do it, it's a 7.
Yeah, it's just odd that nobody brought up. Excuse me, sir. This story is already controversial. I'm not really sure why we're using Batgirl in this way, and then hashtag BatSex. Or maybe that was the point.
That's exactly what
that's the point where they were trying to be controversial, trying to push people's buttons so that people would start talking about it and they'd get sales. And in that case, that's really fucking disgusting.
That is kind of. But
so,
it's a 7 because I can't give it. It's a good movie and it's good because of the animation quality and the base old story, but not the new shit. The new shit should have been out. Doesn't need to be in there or done at least in a semi-intelligent manner. But even the first guy, the first dude was like super into her and was totally gonna rape her. He roofied her and was gonna go to sleep, and I guarantee he was gonna rape her because they set up the prostitute scene with the pillow and the bat ears.
That's true.
He clearly wanted to rape her.
That's some fuck. Yeah, but that's all the more reason why that was a terrible inclusion. What the fuck was the point in adding this, except for to prod fans and to get more of controversy?
I can understand like they even have that scene where Batman was like, "Hey, this is obsession. It's different," and she was trying to get him to talk about it. Which is like Joker was obsessed with him and killed Robin over it. Maybe he was trying to draw a parallel of this guy's really fucking into you. Like the Joker is with me, you need to stay away from him. Don't give into that sort of bullshit.
Yeah, but that was never expanded. He just seems like a normal fucking shitty ass villain.
Yeah, he did.
Who basically takes advantage of women, and so he's gonna try to take advantage of Batgirl, and Batman knows that, so he's like, stay away.
He said he was really obsessed.
Stupid. It's just awful. I love the animation style. The animation style was similar to your favorite animated series, Batman, the animated series. Unfortunately, as Del pointed out,
the animation quality, it's like mountainous. It goes super high quality, and then there's scenes and frames where the characters are like very, very bland, like the henchmen.
No, not necessarily that.
Well, but the frames, they go really low. Like the animation quality goes really low.
Well, there's certain.
I didn't pay too much attention to it until you started pointing it out.
Yep. Yeah, it would be smooth, buttery smooth in certain parts, and then in certain parts where characters are walking or moving, it'd be like 5 frames per second. And my internet's fine and everything, so I think that was actually in there. So I was a little disappointed to see that. As in terms of characters not being detailed, that's a part of the style of this particular animation. So the animation was great. The writing was great. Aside from that beginning story that really had nothing to do with anything except for objectifying Batgirl and then hashtag BatSex, which for huge fans of the comic, it's going to feel wrong to them, right? And you have to do it right in order to get fans behind it and go, okay, that's an interesting angle that you haven't taken before. But we felt it wasn't done all that great.
So basically, after sex, it was weird, and she's like, you know what, I got to quit. Yeah. That's what I feel like happened.
She's like, I can't go to work and face
that was the crux of her quitting, rather than being paralyzed. So...
Maybe
wasn't
he wasn't that good.
Mm-hmm. But the performances of Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy, damn it! I was trying to keep a straight face.
I can't tell it.
Whatever. All right.
The performances were pretty.
Were spot on, and they basically do a faithful recreation of it. And God, I hate you.
It's fine. I'm good.
Yeah, I wanted to give it a 6 because of the terrible idea at the beginning of the film and the BatSex. But honestly, the BatSex and the storyline where Barbara falling in love or having a fling for Batman was actually done half well and half poorly. Yeah. Like they set it up nicely and then they fucked it up. So I can't go that low. I have to end up where you're at, 7 out of 10, because the comic was damn good. Comic is like 10 out of 10.
Comic's great.
And
Comics are always way better.
For at least me, well. let's see. Is that true? If I could quickly think of something.
Maybe like 90% of the time.
Yeah, like 90% of the time.
They're gonna be better.
So if you have money, so basically 7 out of 10 for the film, and if you got some cash. And you don't have the actual hard copy or the graphic novel, I'd probably go there first, then the DVD. That's our opinion. Definitely do not spend $20 on the digital version just to see it 2 weeks early. It's not worth it.
No, it's not.
And you won't like that. So, hey guys, you wanted my opinion on Batman the Killing Joke? There it is.
Hey,
and
there you have it.
Hell yeah.
It was a good film overall, but there were
maybe
some
like 10
problems.
minutes taken away.
30 minutes. Oh no, it's 10 minutes.
10 minutes maybe.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. Okay, guys, we will see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys.
See you guys.